Good afternoon, and welcome to Man Cave Meditations. Let's dive in. So I realized that it's only been a few days since I last posted. I believe it was the night before the big birthday parade and the No Kings protest, which I will honestly say I thought two big things, which I believe is probably shared among most, discerning Americans, thoughtful, discerning Americans, that A, Trump's birthday military parade, in celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Army. Yeah, right. Yeah, not him. Of course not. I thought, and I'm assuming I'm not alone in this, that would have, should have garnered a lot more crowds. It just demanded more crowds, they didn't even fill in the VIP bleachers. I'll get to what I feel, that whole thing. But that parade would have just had more people there. I was surprised by that. And B, that the No Kings protests were going to be as popular as they were. Incredible. Had to be like 3% of the population. There was multiple millions of people. I saw a clip of Boise, Idaho. And the protest there was greater than, it looked like if you took that protest just in Boise, Idaho. And took that group of people and just put them they would have filled up a half a mile and something of Trump's military parade. They would have made him look a lot better. Boise, Idaho. So I was surprised at the turnout with that. Americans are obviously they're waking up. They don't like it. They don't want it. And then on the other end, the military parade, obviously you had the two things going on at the same time. And you knew that, and there was also, I talked a few days ago about trying to inflame. I think the Proud Boys or Enrique Tarrio, they showed up, tried to inflame several, Congress, Democratic lawmakers, a husband and wife, lost their lives in Minnesota. This one man targeted them, also targeted a state senator and his wife. And he luckily the other two, they were injured. Was this man acting on his own? Hey, whatever the truth will be coming out. But why did that attack happen then? But the protests, they came through. The power of the people. You see it already. And Trump sees it. Oh, yeah, he sees it. Believe me. He knows that his parade was this. And the No Kings was like this. It was huge compared to his little parade. Little sausage wiener of a parade. One of the clips I kept seeing over and over again was this one, armored troop carrier or something that looked like it was from 35. It was 40 years old. We're going through with the wheels squeaking. Usually in a parade, you wouldn't be able to hear the wheels squeaking because everybody be cheering and crying and they don't crack and cheering and yelling, bands playing. So, not just to that, but the whole thing was a fucking shit show. You didn't even fill up the VIP section of the parade. Who was in charge of this? Was it Hegseth? and all the people around him? You know, I don't know. But if that was the best you could do, did he just put you in charge of it? Trump just put eggs at the chase. Said, Pete, take care of it. Pete said, yeah, sure, I'll take care of it. Well, you didn't take care of it. You know, Trump, who supposedly in his first, running in one of his campaigns, I've heard multiple times, if he showed up to a venue for one of his rallies, and the thing was only half filled with people, he would fire the person that was in charge of putting it together. Right? So, point being is, this makes him look weak. He doesn't want to look weak. He did his parade so that he could look strong. But it just shows the incompetence of this whole thing. So he's losing his mind. He's got to be losing his fucking mind. You know, he knows. He knows the power of the protests. He knows the weakness of his own parade, how that looked. And as you see this, incompetence that went into putting this thing together. I know it should have never been, but you also have to think of, like, is this Hegseth and his people that are like, it's all coming top down to create this whole thing, this shit show of a military parade? And I could care less about the military parade. But what I do care about is if these are the people that are in charge, except a few people around him, you know, and we could be on the verge of going to war with Iran because Bibi Netanyahu and his infinite wisdom, you know, warmonger that he is, bombed Iran. Iran's already bombed back. Israel now hit their oil fields. Or rather, Israel hit Tehran. Tehran struck back missile attack on Tel Aviv. And Israel struck their oil fields. It's going to keep going. And you know that Netanyahu's doing this because he knows that he could draw Trump in and the U.S. in. That's the only reason he's doing it. Because Trump is going to want to distract. And again, the Wizard of Oz, as the calamity increases, he's going to want a bigger smoke bomb. And what a smoke bomb. Than a conflict. It's us against them now. Forget about everything going on in here. A picture that might come out with a 13-year-old girl in my lap at by Epstein's pool. The bill I'm trying to push through that'll cut 14 million people off their health benefits. The fact that I just had a little, little sausage link dick of a military parade that was a complete $50 million failure, as that's, I'm trying to take people off their SNAP benefits. Firing veterans out of the VA. How many salaries at the VA could that have covered in a year? $50 million for your fucking parade? And riots in LA that I extended my hand on, this, that, the other thing, the $400 million from the Qataris. I need to get the attention back out there, away from me and all this. So join the Israelis in a war with Iran. Yeah, who's going to be in charge of that war? Is it the guy and his cronies or whoever who just put together that absolutely failed military parade? Is that who's going to be in charge? Is it? Again, I'm not going to sit here and understand how it all works. It could be that him and his cronies just sit back and they let the whole thing do its thing. But again, it's top down, isn't it? Isn't that how it works? So the United States of America, the military machine that is the United States of America military machine, post-World War II into the present day, yes, it could be, think of it in terms of symphonic orchestras. It's like the Berlin Philharmonic, the New York Philharmonic. It's the greatest. Nothing comes close to it. But if you put a conductor who has no idea what he's doing in front of that orchestra, the orchestra is going to start working against itself. It may find a way through it, but if the person that's conducting it, supposed to be leading it, is just going to fuck it up, and it's the whole structure is top down, and they just think they can go in there and beat the crap out of them, kill innocent people, this and that, and score some points, and then get out. That's what Netanyahu wants, of course. You know, ever since the Hamas attack on Israel, a tragic day, October of 2023, over 1,000 Israelis, kids going to, kids in their 20s going to a music festival, just slaughtered. Horrific day. But I remember thinking on that day, it was a Saturday in October, and I remember thinking, I'm like, well, here's a guy who has, he's trying to change the judicial system because the judicial system has found him guilty, or has found, he's been indicted on like charges of corruption and, all the bribery, things like that. So he's trying to turn the whole thing in its head. People have been protesting this and that. And when I saw this thing that happened, when it happened, that Hamas attack, I said, well, this is going to be a way for him to just cling on to power and do whatever he wants in the name of, we have to defeat the enemy. So sell survival. And now with Trump, they see that, hey, we could just bully this guy. We could put him in a corner. Pull them into this war. We have, not even arguably, the worst Secretary of Defense in the history of our country. The worst secretary of anything in the history of our country. Health, intelligence, okay? I mean, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, C.Q. Brown. Oh, what a disgrace he was fired. Why? Because he's black? I mean, this guy, during his confirmation hearing, he blew everyone away. Blew them all away. Why was he fired? I love the other 8 or 9 generals that you fired. Why? I bet I don't even know what they all look like, but I guarantee you that none of them are white men. Decades, probably centuries of experience between all of them. This is how empires fall. This is how great nations fall. So I pray that we do not get sucked into a war with Iran. He's already going to distract with trying to do the same thing in other cities. I guarantee that he did in Los Angeles. There's probably a plan to start something in Chicago, incite something, or in New York, Philly, wherever. But he's, after these hits, this failed parade, plus the protests, I feel that the Wizard of Oz is going to want to really try to push the narrative out there to another that we can all get behind and fight. And if we get pulled into this war with Iran, try to will it to be, but if we get pulled into this war with Iran, which will be an unjust war, because if in the end the reason for us being in this war is the fact that Iran was going to get a nuclear weapon, well, we had a nuclear deal with Iran, which Trump ripped up. The sole reason being because it was of Obama's doing. And he didn't like that. Had nothing to do with the merits of the deal. It was because it was from Obama. And just like everything from Biden, that was done. That was well done. The CHIPS Act, the this and that. Just tear it all up because it's from him. I don't like that. Like a fucking 5-year-old. So yes, it will be an unjust war. And unjust wars are not... They usually, if you just look at they don't go well, for the most part. Especially when you have fucking idiots at the helm. So, anyway. Spoken enough. God bless.